Listen closely. This is not a story about brave adventurers or honorable sailors. This is a story about the price of a secret. On a night exactly like this, in 1792, the merchant ship Sea Serpent vanished without a trace. No wreckage, no bodies, just a single waterlogged logbook that washed up on a Jamaican beach a year later. And on its last page, written in a hand shaking with pure terror, were 5 words that would curse every man who read them. He is not a man. This is what happened next. Our story begins not with the Sea Serpent, but with its sister ship, the Marathon, a weary British merchant brig slogging its way from Calcutta to London. Aboard is our protagonist, Elias Thorne, not a captain or an officer, but the ship's surgeon, a man of science and reason, haunted by a past he refuses to discuss. The voyage is plagued with misfortune. Rotten food, contrary winds, and a fever that sweeps through the crew, killing 5 men. Morale is lower than the bilge water. The captain, a stern man named Abercrombie, is growing desperate. One foggy morning off the Cape of Good Hope, they spot a vessel adrift. As they draw closer, a silence falls over the Marathon's crew. It's the Sea Serpent. Its sails are in tatters, its hull scarred but afloat. Captain Abercrombie sees salvage rights, a fortune in saved cargo. Elias Thorne sees a ghost. A boarding party is sent over. They return an hour later, pale and silent. The ship is empty. No crew, no signs of struggle. The tables in the captain's cabin are set for a meal, now covered in a thick green mold. The cargo hold, however, is intact. And in that hold, they find it, a dozen iron-bound chests, not part of the ship's manifest. When forced open, they glitter with stolen Spanish gold coins, jeweled crucifixes, and raw silver bars. Captain Abercrombie's eyes gleam with greed. Providence has saved us, lads. We are rich, but Elias is examining the ship's surgeon's kit, left behind in the sick bay. The scalpels are rusted, not with seawater, but with a dark, flaky substance he recognizes instantly as dried blood. And carved into the wood of the medicine cabinet are those same 5 words. He is not a man. The gold changes everything. Paranoia replaces desperation. The crew of the Marathon divides into factions, those loyal to the captain, and those led by the brutish bosun, Red Silas, who argue the treasure should be split equally immediately. Elias tries to warn the captain. He speaks of the logbook, of the strange blood, of the unnatural silence of the derelict. Abercrombie dismisses him as a superstitious fool. That gold is our salvation, surgeon. Do not poison the men's minds with your fantasies. That night, the first man dies. A young sailor who had been part of the initial boarding party is found at the bow, his face frozen in a scream, his throat slit with surgical precision. The blame is instantly placed on Red Silas's men. Tension boils over into a brief, brutal skirmish on the deck. 2 more men are killed. Amidst the chaos, Elias is studying the body. The cut is too clean, too expert. It reminds him of his days training in Edinburgh, of cadavers and precise incisions. This was not the work of a cutlass or a sailor's knife. The next day, they're being followed. A sleek, black-hulled schooner appears on the horizon, always keeping its distance, but never losing them. Through his telescope, Elias sees no flag flying, no standard. The crew mutters one name, a name spoken in taverns with a mixture of fear and awe: Captain Cyrus Vane. A pirate so ruthless, it was said he'd made a pact with something from the deep to protect his plunder. The Sea Serpent had been his prize, and they had stolen it. The black schooner closes in. It's faster, more maneuverable. A cannon shot rings out across the water, a warning across their bow. Captain Abercrombie, finally understanding the gravity of their situation, prepares for a fight they cannot win. Elias confronts him. They don't want to sink us, Captain. They want the gold back, and they want to silence us. Red Silas and his men are now in open rebellion, demanding they heave to and surrender the treasure for their lives. The Marathon is a powder keg of fear and mutiny. It is then that Elias proposes an impossible choice. He reveals his past to the captain alone. Before he was a surgeon, He was a pressed man on a pirate vessel. He knows how they think, how they fight. He suggests a desperate gambit. They will not fight the pirates. They will join them. Using a signal lamp, Elias sends a message to the black schooner, a message in the old pirate cant. The Sea Serpent's brood offers parley. We have your gold. We offer it in our service. A tense meeting is arranged. Cyrus Vane himself comes aboard the Marathon. He is not a roaring brute, but a quiet, intense man with eyes as cold and dark as the deep ocean. He carries an air of immense, ancient power. He listens to Elias's proposal. He is intrigued not by the gold, but by Elias, by his knowledge, by his nerve. Very well, surgeon, Vane says, his voice a low whisper that seems to slither through the air. You will be my guests, but understand this. The gold is mine. The Sea Serpent was mine, and the thing that guards it is also mine. Betray me, and you will learn why my name is feared from here to the Barbary coast. The two ships sail in tandem to a remote, uncharted island, a jagged spire of rock shrouded in perpetual mist. In a hidden lagoon, Vane's base of operations is revealed, a cave system filled with more treasure and the wrecks of other ships that had dared to cross his path. It is here that Elias learns the truth. The creature, the thing that is not a man, is real. Vane calls it the Keeper, a being from the deep, bound to Vane by some ancient bloody magic. It is the Keeper who scuttles Vane's prey, who guards his hidden troves, and who disposes of those who betray him. The crew of the Sea Serpent didn't vanish. They were taken. Vane's proposition is simple. The crew of the Marathon will swear allegiance to him. They will become his new crew, for his old one has grown restless. In return, they will live and receive a share of future plunder. Captain Abercrombie, proud and broken, refuses. He is taken away into the dark caves, and his screams are swallowed by the sound of the surf. Red Silas, seeing a chance for power and wealth, eagerly swears the oath. The crew, terrified, follows, all except Elias. Vane needs a surgeon. He offers Elias a position of privilege. But Elias has seen the madness in Vane's eyes. He has seen the Keeper's handiwork, the mangled, half-eaten remains of a previous traitor washed up in the lagoon. He knows this is not a life, it's a damnation. A feast is held to celebrate the new alliance. Vane's pirate crew and the men of the Marathon drink and carouse on the beach. Elias pretends to drink, but remains sober. He knows this is his only chance. His plan is not to fight, but to break the pact. In Vane's quarters, he finds the source of the magic, a small, grotesque idol made of whalebone and obsidian, pulsing with a faint, malevolent heat. It is the totem that binds the Keeper to Vane. As he seizes it, Vane enters the cabin. I knew you were different, surgeon. I felt the ambition in you, the darkness. There is a darkness in all men, Elias replies, holding the idol. But some of us choose to fight it. Vane draws his cutlass, but Elias is a surgeon. He knows anatomy. He doesn't aim for the heart. As Vane lunges, Elias throws his surgical knife. It finds its mark in Vane's shoulder, severing a key tendon. Vane's sword arm goes limp, his cutlass clattering to the floor. You cannot kill me, Vane snarls. The Keeper will feast on your soul. The Keeper, Elias says, smashing the idol against the stone wall, is no longer yours to command. A deafening, unearthly roar echoes from the depths of the lagoon. The island itself seems to shudder. Chaos erupts. The water of the lagoon churns as a massive, tentacled horror rises, now freed from its binding. It attacks everything in sight, pirate and sailor alike. In the panic, Elias manages to get to the Marathon, which is still anchored in the lagoon. A handful of men, those who haven't completely lost their minds to fear or greed, follow him. They cut the anchor lines and sail desperately for the open sea, the sounds of destruction and dying men fading behind them. They do not look back. Weeks later, a ragged, half-starved Elias Thorne stumbles into a British Admiralty office in Port Royal. He tells a carefully edited story of shipwreck, pirates, and a miraculous escape. He is believed. He is given passage home. He carries no gold, no yuas, His only possession is the waterlogged logbook from the Sea Serpent, which he had kept hidden. He had paid for its secret with blood and terror. And sometimes, on quiet nights, when the wind howls just right, he can still hear it, the distant roar of a creature from the deep, and the whispered promise of Cyrus Vane, a man who was more than a man, forever bound to the monster he had unleashed.